Alright, here is Death Metal 4, and I want to preface this by saying that my goal here is to, while pretending to be an idiot as always, still offer more insightful looks at this event than diversity in a comic book, aka your boy Zeke. He is a fucking clown. His reviews for death metal are just a waste of time. I unsubscribed from him ages ago, and I really think he is a clown. The minute Marvel stopped publishing so many Snowman and cringy crap comics like that, that was the moment when he became irrelevant. His thoughts on actual comics are worthless. And this is me saying it, someone who gets all the names wrong on purpose. I'm not trying to start a feud with him or inspire people to unsub from him or out like that. I'm just saying his input has no value whatsoever when all he can do is moan about death metal without providing any real criticism or any real reason for not liking it, and believe me, there are plenty. Or with his assessment of Jonathan Huckleberry's Excellent Men, never gone beyond him complaining about it being about plants again, when there are 1,000 more problems with that run. I recommend you go and watch his awful review of Christmas on Infinite Earths #1 to see how ill-equipped and crap he is at discussing any book where he cannot mock the embarrassing melodrama of gay lesbian fan fiction masquerading as American superhero comics. So death metal is annoying. And what annoys me is that it is badly designed, it is badly communicated, and it is badly managed. On the latter, there is a good example of that on this first page. Down here, we have Captain Atamant. He is shown fighting against some generic bad guy army, but in one of them annoying one-shots, and in the first issue of this mini-series actually, Captain Atamant, him dying and doing a big nuclear explosion, that was addressed and shown as being a whole thing. It's meant to be part of the backstory to this very poorly built world. And now, he's just there in the background. And then, with the plotting problems, this whole thing feels like a first draft. This needed so much more work, and a big part of that would be finding an actual story in this, because 4 issues in, we do not have a story. We have a setting, we have a bunch of characters running around to do some things, but there's no focus to any of it. And it turns out that those 3 one-shots, the Multiversity one, the Flask one, and Trinity Christmas, the ones that actually had stuff happening in them, they are essential to follow this here. And in fact, we just continue the story straight from that Trinity Christmas one. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, they have gone into the multiverse to visit the previous Christmas events and try and get help in them. So Batman, he has gone to the original Christmas on Infinite Earths, and Uncle Monitor is there. And Superman, he has gone to Final Christmas, and Darkseid is there. I quite like the idea of revisiting these hard events and trying to get the bad guys from them to come back and help them defeat Batman, who is a black tendril shadow design, which people think is crap, but I am okay with because I like baddies who are like that. It's a shame we didn't include 0 Hours, Christmas in Time. We didn't include evil Green Lanterns, the evil Jordan Albert version. Would have liked to see him involved in this. I like the idea of these big stories that just involve or bring in past stuff, and they're meant to be the biggest thing ever. Here we have Wonder Woman and Amazon Prime Superboy, and this is the closest we have gotten to some character stuff or a character arc in this main series yet. Wonder Woman, she tries to appeal to Amazon Prime Superboy to get him to help out the heroes, but he doesn't want to. I probably need to explain Amazon Prime Superboy. He was a version of Superboy who came from what was meant to be the real world. The world outside your window. All the DC characters were comic book characters in his world, and there were no superpowers or aliens or robots or stuff like that. He was meant to be the reader. He was meant to represent the reader and give the reader a little bit of wish fulfillment when he suddenly got superpowers and he teamed up with the real Superman. Then he died shortly after being introduced, sacrificing himself to end Christmas on Infinite Earths. And if you want to read into that, there's maybe some idea there that Mark Wolfenstein is trying to say that the reader themselves is as important to the DC universe as all the writers and all the heroes. But then in the mid-noughties, when bitter middle-aged balding men were writing comics with a deep resentment for the fan base, they decided to bring Amazon Prime Superboy back and make him into a full-on evil bastard. Amazon Prime Superboy, who was meant to be a reflection of the reader, well, he was recreated in the horrid image of comic book readers that these writers had. He was a whiny, petulant child who has tantrums and never stops complaining about the characters not being as good as they used to be. A lot of people consider him one of the worst characters ever, but I think the fact that he is just an insult to the reader, that is more offensive than him running around and violently killing characters that John Jeffries and Dan Diddy Dido have decided are lame. Oh God, speaking of terrible overwritten villains, Batman, who is a Robert. This prick, he is worse than Amazon Prime Superboy in my opinion. Here, he just thoroughly defeats the heroes and Harley Quinn who gang up against him. He just has a magic bullshit thing in his pocket to nerf each of them. This was a character they wanted to be popular. They wanted Batman, who is a Robert, to be a breakout star, and he is terrible. People got tired of Batman who does a laugh. The recipe for success isn't just to repeat Batman who does a laugh, but this time make him into a kid. So the heroes, they are failing to appeal to all the Christmas baddies, and I am very proud to say I didn't fall for it this time. And I recognise this was an advert for Snickers before I started reading it, thinking it was part of the comic. But the one big baddie who is eventually won around is obviously Amazon Prime Superboy. Him and Wonder Woman, they have received much more focus than the other two. So it was broadcast immediately that this would have more payoff than Uncle Monitor and Darkseid. So the heroes and Amazon Prime Superboy, they return to the main Earth and are ready to do Wonder Woman's plan she's had for 4 issues, which is to empower the Flask, the Willie West version, with Christmas energy to defeat Batman, who is a Black Tendril Shadow design, which people think is crap, but I am okay with, because I like baddies who are like that. But then, it just fails. The one bit of story momentum, or even just the one bit of actual story in Death Metal, it just fails straight away off panel. And now, Batman, who is a Black Tendril Shadow design, which people think is crap, but I am okay with because I like baddies who are like that, he is even more powerful. And he was already meant to be the most powerful thing ever before this. And it turns out all that set up with Wonder Woman's plan and the Flask and Christmas energy, it isn't important anymore. This is such a badly told and badly paced story. They really should have spent longer ironing out an actual plot and a story for this event. This main Death Metal series has offered next to nothing when it comes to thought. It's all spectacle, and it's so frustrating because they really could have done much more to make this better. There are some ideas there that could be really fun. This is probably the best issue yet, but that is just because it is the only main issue of Death Metal that has actually got a character arc to it. Someone, Amazon Prime Superboy, someone came out of this comic at a different point to what they were at on the first page. So I give this 7 thumbs up, but I'm still not recommending it.